Movies on the Brain. Today I'm jumping into the hilarious, action-packed world of Central Intelligence. Directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber, this 2016 comedy thriller stars the dynamic duo of Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, bringing you a mix of laughs, thrills, and unexpected twists. Before we dive in, a heads up, this review is loaded with spoilers. If you haven't seen Central Intelligence yet, you might want to check it out first and then come back to us. In this review, I share my first-time viewing experience, breaking down the funniest moments, the high-octane action scenes, and the surprising turns in the plot. Get ready for a wild ride as we explore the adventures of Bob Stone and Calvin Joyner. Let's get started. Now let's see how it did in the box office. Well, Central Intelligence opened in theaters on June 17, 2016 with a budget of $50 million. In its 11-week theatrical run, it made $216.9 million worldwide. Its opening weekend, it earned $35.5 million domestically, finishing the weekend at number 2, only behind Finding Dory, which also opened that same weekend. Its final weekend in the box office, it earned $188,842, finishing its box office run at number 31, which saw Don't Breathe and Mechanic Resurrection open that same weekend, finishing number 1 and number 5 respectively. Now let's get into the plot. In 1996, star athlete Calvin the Golden Jet Joyner is being honored at his school, Central High. Halfway through his speech, a group of bullies led by Trevor Olson throws the morbidly obese nerd Robbie Weirdick, who was taking a shower and dancing happily to My Lovin', You're Never Gonna Get It, on the radio in the boys' locker room, naked into the gymnasium in the middle of an assembly. Everyone starts laughing except for Joyner and his girlfriend Maggie Johnson, who are the only ones sympathetic towards Weirdick, the former even going as far as to quickly cover him up with his varsity jacket in a moment of compassion. He thanks Joyner and flees in embarrassment. 20 years later, Joyner is married to Maggie and works as a forensic accountant, but is dissatisfied with his career. She suggests they see a therapist to salvage their deteriorating marriage. At work, Joyner receives a friend request on Facebook from Bob Stone, who invites him to meet him at a bar. Stone reveals himself to be Weirdick, who has transformed into a muscular, fit, confident man with advanced hand-to-hand combat skills. After a bar fight and a tour of the school, Stone asks Joyner to review some online transactions, and he discovers a multi-million-dollar auction with bidders from radical countries, with the final bid set to conclude the following day. The next morning, a team of CIA agents led by Pamela Harris arrive at Joyner's in search of Stone, who shockingly vanished after sleeping in Joyner's couch. Harris tells Joyner that he's a dangerous rogue agent who murdered his former partner, Phil Stanton. Harris tells Joyner that Stone intends to sell satellite codes to the highest bidder. Soon after, Stone abducts him, explaining that he is trying to stop a mysterious criminal called the Black Badger from selling the codes, but needs Joyner's skill to locate the meeting place. After an attack by a bounty hunter, Joyner flees and calls Maggie, telling her to meet him at the marriage counselor's office. Harris intercepts him, telling him that Stone is the Black Badger. He warns him to not tell Maggie and gives him a device to alert them to Stone's location. Joyner meets Maggie for the marriage counseling session, where Stone is posing as the counselor. Stone convinces Joyner to help him, so he sets up a meeting with Olson, who can track the offshore account for the auction to get the deal's location. Olson apologizes for bullying Stone, but fabricates his apology once again antagonizes him. Harris calls Joyner and threatens to arrest Maggie if he fails to help them detain Stone. Joyner reluctantly betrays him, and the CIA arrests him. As Harris tortures Stone to get his confession, Joyner helps him escape and discovers the deal is happening in a Boston underground parking garage and helps Stone steal a plane. Stone enters alone while Joyner watches Harris. Entering a short while later, the Assuming that she is the Black Badger, he runs after her, only to find Stone meeting with the buyer and claiming to be the Black Badger. Stone shoots Joyner, grazing his neck to keep him safe. Stanton arrives, having faked his death, and reveals himself to be the Black Badger. A fight breaks out, and Stanton reveals his plan to frame Stone for the crime. Stone kills him by ripping his throat out. Joyner and he make it to their 20th high school reunion. Upon arriving, Joyner reconciles with Maggie and promises to improve their marriage. The new prom king is announced to be Stone. Joyner reveals to Maggie that he hacked the school's voting system to make it happen. Olsen shows up to bully Stone once again, but he finally stands up for himself and punches him unconscious. In Stone's acceptance speech, he reveals that he is Weirdick, cites the importance of overcoming obstacles, and praises Joyner as his best friend. He then relives his most embarrassing incident on his terms by stripping. Stone then encounters his high school crush, Darla McGuckian, whom he proceeds to share a kiss and dance with. Sometime later, Maggie is now pregnant, and Joyner has joined Stone in the CIA. As a gift for his first day on the job, Stone returns Joyner's varsity jacket. Let's check out the cast and some of the early roles they've had. Dwayne Johnson as Bob Stone or Robbie Weirdick. Other roles for Dwayne Johnson include Chris Vaughn Jr. in Walking Tall, Don Porter in Gridiron Gang, and Luke Hobbs in the Fast and Furious franchise. Kevin Hart as Calvin Joyner. Other roles for Kevin Hart include CJ in the Scary Movie franchise, Ben Barber in the Ride Along franchise, and Teddy Walker in Night School. Amy Ryan as Agent Pamela Harris. Other roles for Amy Ryan include Sylvia in 2014's Birdman, Chloe Banks in the TV show The Naked Truth, and Holly Flax in the TV show The Office. Aaron Paul as Phil Stanton. Other roles for Aaron Paul include Jesse Pinkman in the TV show Breaking Bad, Toby Marshall in Need for Speed, and Eddie Lane in the TV show The Path. Danielle Nicolette as Maggie Joyner. Other roles for Danielle Nicolette include Vonda Mahoney in the TV show Family Matters, Nurse Mary Singletary in the 2007 American TV show Heartland, and Shondi in the Saints Row video game franchise. Timothy John Smith as Agent Nick Cooper. Other roles for Timothy John Smith include Detective Gilly in The Equalizer, Both Ways Bobby in The Judge, and he's the host of 2006's The Greatest Stories Never Told. Megan Park as Lexi. Other roles for Megan Park include Grace Bowman in the TV show The Secret Life of an American Teenager, Rose in the TV show The Lottery, and she directed and wrote The Fallout. Thomas Kretschmann as the buyer. Other roles for Thomas Kretschmann include Max in the TV series 24, Major Timothy Kane in Resident Evil Apocalypse, and Baron Wolfgang von Strucker in the MCU films. Jason Bateman as Trevor Olson. Other roles for Jason Bateman include Michael Bluth in the TV show Arrested Development, Marty Byrde in the TV show Ozark, and Nick Wilde in Zootopia. Melissa McCarthy as Darla McGuckian. Other roles for Melissa McCarthy include Suki St. James in the TV show Gilmore Girls, Molly Flynn in the TV show Mike and Molly, and Detective Shannon Mullins in The Heat. Camille Nanjiani as Jared. Other roles for Camille Nanjiani include Nesh in the TV show Silicon Valley, Sue Prasad in Stuber, and Prismo in the TV show Adventure Time. Ryan Hansen as Steve. Other roles for Ryan Hansen include Dick Casablancas in the TV show Veronica Mars, Nolan in 2009's Friday the 13th, and Andy in the show Two Broke Girls. This was honestly such a fun movie. I'm normally not one for movies starring both Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson, but they played so good off of each other. I really did enjoy it. Part of me thought they were actually going to have Robbie turn out to be the villain, but I'm really glad they didn't. Aaron Paul showing up was such a random choice, but honestly, I rather enjoyed seeing him on screen after more than his fake death and him being the bad guy. I really enjoyed chemistry between the cast, and you can tell they all had fun making the movie. I mean, especially with Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson. because they constantly film movies together, so I don't understand. I understand why they did this one together. Now let's take a look at some fun facts and trivia about this movie. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart formed a friendship since this film came out and have been best friends ever since. Dwayne Johnson wears a fanny pack throughout the movie, and the film makes multiple comedic references to it. There's a reference to a popular meme which shows Johnson wearing a fanny pack in the 90s. Dwayne Johnson gives three nods to Bruce Lee: the yellow and black sneakers, a famous Lee pose, and a one-inch punch. Weird Dick, as pronounced in this movie, sounds like Weird Dick in German, meaning defend yourself, which is suiting of the bullying topic. And that wraps up my review of Central Intelligence. I hope you enjoyed my take on this action comedy gem. If you had a good time watching, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to Movies on the Brain for movie reviews and movie content. Have you seen Central Intelligence? What did you think of the chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing from you. If you have any movie recommendations or requests, drop them in the comments or send me a message. Your suggestions might be featured in my next review. Till next time, keep your popcorn ready, stay curious, and keep those movies on your brain. And I'll see you in the next review.